Do you like to use task cards in your classroom? I really enjoy using task cards because it gives students a way to have that deliberate and repeated practice on the things that I am learning, and it can chunk the information. So today we are talking on different ways that you can use task cards in your science classroom. Well, hello and aloha. I am Fleur, the face behind Aloha Monday Teaching, and I help middle school science teachers like you and me be more intentional, prepared, and refreshed for Monday and any day. Then we're being the best for our students, doing the best job in the world, which is teaching them all about science. So today we are talking all about task cards, using task cards in the science classroom. This is based on the blog post, and anything with links I'll have below in the description so you can see whatever, anything else you want to see. So let's go ahead and get started. These are 5 tips or ways to use task cards in the classroom. All right, so these are the 5 ways we're going to talk about today, using them as entrance or exit tickets, using it in a task card station, using it with games, around the room, and as homework. All right, so when this is the screen that I show on when the students come into class each day, it tells them their bell work, it tells them what we're doing today, what they need to be ready for class. So you could do something like this with task cards. This is just one example. You can do other ways too. So what you see here is one task card shown on the screen for bell work, and maybe they'll get their notebooks out, or if you have like a task card paper that they're completing, or maybe just a little piece of scratch paper. Sometimes I do that. I just cut scratch paper into fourths, and that's the paper they use for their bell work on different days. So you could do that. You could have whiteboards, however you decide. But the thing is that you are using it to review information that they've learned, and that helps their brain and their neural connections. So this is one way you could do it. You could also just have some task cards out that they take, and then they complete it. So there's different ways you can do it. And then you can also use it as an exit ticket at the end of class. Post a couple of task cards on the screen, and that's like a review of that day's learning, and then they do that as their exit ticket. So it's just a really quick way to review, give them that repeated practice. The second thing you can do is use them in a station. So this is a picture of a vocabulary station. So just imagine it says task card station. So you've got your task cards, you've got the directions, you have the recording sheet. Or sometimes you'll have task cards with actual tasks where they have to make something. Your task cards can do different things, but this is using it in a specific station. So it's one of the rotations that they will have to go through, and then they're getting that practice. Another way is to use games. So most of us teachers, we have a variety of board games in a cabinet somewhere in our classroom or on a bookshelf that we use on board game day as a reward, right? So you could use those games in a as fun. You can use it in a station. You can use it as, their extension, or when they're done with their work, they go get a game and some task cards. And all they're doing is adding the task cards to the game. So before they get to take their turn, they have to answer a task card correctly. Then they can roll the dice or move and do their turn. So this is using the game Trouble. You can use Sorry. You can use Jenga. That would be so much fun, right? They answer the question correctly, then they get to pull their Jenga block. So those are a few different ways, like different games you can use. And it's just really simple. You just add the task cards to any game, and then they can play. Then it's engaging and they're working and they don't really realize it. Another way you can use task cards is by having them move around the room. So put your task cards up around the room, and they go around together and they get their sheet and they're going around the room and answering all the questions. That's a good way also to do a review for a quiz that's coming up, or you can use it as an engaging activity. There's a lot of different ways you can do that. But then the kids are not at their desks. You can pair them up and then they're just going around the room. And the fifth idea is to use it as homework. If you assign homework, this could be just a different way to do it. So instead of giving worksheets or book work or something like that, just give them a few task cards and then they complete that at home. And it's, then it's simple, it doesn't take them long, and they're getting that important review, that repeated practice. So when you're using task cards, there's different ways you can store them. You can put them in like those photo holders like you see pictured here. Index card holders work well too. Just Ziploc bags, I use that a lot. And you can also use sheet protectors. So if you don't even cut your task cards into cards, just leave them on the paper when you print them out, put them in sheet protectors, and then they can just use those at a task card station or in homework. So those are different ways to store your task cards. Okay, so we talked a lot about task cards, and I hope you found something new, a new way to use them. Maybe you have an idea that you'd like to share too. So I would love to hear about that. So we talked about using task cards. It's a great way to review material and that giving students that repeated deliberate practice, which helps strengthen neural connections in their brain, which eventually with enough practice will put it into long-term memory. You can use task cards as entrance or exit tickets in stations or on choice boards. I didn't mention that earlier, but you can also put them in a choice board. You can use them with board games that you have in your classroom. You can put them up around the room and students will move around to answer the questions, or you can even use this as homework. So what's your favorite thing about task cards? I know I love using task cards in the classroom. And what is one thing you'll try after teaching your students a new concept? And also, what do you do in your classroom that I didn't share today? Because I would love to learn from you too. So please share in the comments below. And then check out these other videos that are related to different student activities, lesson planning, and classroom management. Thank you.